Today, I have the honor of sitting with one of the most recognizable voices in international journalism, the one and only Richard Quest. So you probably know him from CNN, where he spent decades turning business into theater. He's the face behind Quest Means Business Traveler, and Quest World of Wonder, bringing his infectious energy to every corner of the globe, including right here in Thailand. Here we are at the Ritz-Carlton Suite in Ritz-Carlton, Bangkok, with the man who's interviewed world leaders, navigated every major financial crisis, and somehow still finds joy and humor in the chaos of it all.
So when you say it like that, I think this is a very good and generous way of saying he's old. He's old, he's been around, and he knows where the bodies are buried. But no, look, sorry, I digress.
No,
please
continue. I love this where this is already starting off to a really, really exciting start.
Yeah.
So Richard, welcome back to Bangkok.
It's wonderful to be here.
And thank you so much for taking time out to chat with us today. What brings you here this time?
A variety of different projects. The reality is that when you're based in New York, when you do visit region, you put together a lot of different projects, which means you're going from one place to the next, to the next, to the next. I always sort of get a little bit concerned when one does this because it does have there used to be a great film in the 1950s, if today's Tuesday, this must be Belgium. And I always get a bit of a feeling, if today's Wednesday, this must be Bangkok. One arrives in Asia, Southeast Asia, with that terrible Eurocentric view that everything must be around the corner. The fact it's 6.5 hours flying from North Asia to South Asia, you completely forget about that. But it is lovely to be here. It's swelteringly hot, schwitzing, to be honest, which is brilliant considering we're going into the Northern Hemispheric winter.
It's actually considered winter cold weather here right now in Bangkok.
Really?
So it is, it's very cold for us.
I'm sweating in places you don't want to know.
So, you have explored everything from tuk-tuks to tom yum goong in Quest World of Wonder.
Yeah.
What is something about Thailand that completely surprised you? Maybe something that didn't make it into the show?
I think it's interesting, the question of surprise, because one's been here numerous occasions over many years. The challenge of filming in Thailand and filming the story here is to somehow, in some way, get over the feel of the place. It's very easy to film it. And whether it be an elephant or the riverboats or the big buildings or the night market or whatever it is, you can capture that with cameras easily. But to capture the essence and not just make it look like a cliche, even the sing-song, hey, the way people speak here, and not make it sound like it's a parody. That is the real challenge here, because when people come to Thailand, everybody knows what you do. There's the beaches in one places, there's the markets, there's the elephants, there's the beautiful scenery. But how do you get the essence of the place? And that is always the difficulty with any form of travel show. And I think it becomes very much so in Thailand, because it's very accessible. I had my honeymoon in Thailand.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where in Thailand?
It was during the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
And they had just launched the Phuket Sandbox as a way of visiting, and we were the only people there. But, it was the ingenuity. Everybody else is crying into their green tea. Meanwhile, Thailand is thinking, how can we actually get people here and get the thing going again? So they come up with the sandbox. They come up with the testing at the airport when you land, long trailers right up the nostrils, all the way back to the sinuses. But it worked. It worked. You got there, and there were the people there, and it worked.
Yes, I think a lot of people I know moved here. They decided to move to Thailand during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of capturing the essence when you were filming, what is the feeling of Thai culture that you wanted people around the world to really understand?
Look, we've all got a phone in our pocket and we can all take a picture of whatever. But again, how do you convince people it's more than a chicken pad thai? I mean, if my husband orders a chicken pad thai one more time, I keep trying to tell him to go further down the menu. Keep going, dear, keep going. There's more interesting things at the bottom. You've just reminded me about this show. I was thinking about what we put in it. That was the first show where I had worn heels. If I'm not mistaken, I said to the producer, we don't want to just do the typical story, you know, and it's not a gay thing. I've always wondered, how do women walk in heels? And by the way, you're not just walking on a flat surface. You're navigating subway grids, you're navigating stairs, cobblestones, blah, blah. So anyway, we found somebody who valiantly would let me do it. Extraordinary drag artist. And of course, you know, you're probably aware, for men and for drag artists, the shoes have to be specially made because of the weight on the heel. Anyway, he would not let go of me. And he was terrified. Either I was going to fall over and rick my ankle and break something. But anyway, I digress. I have no idea, dear viewer, how we got onto that story, which merely means that Jade is doing a superb job because she's completely bewitched me to go down avenues I had no intention of going into.
So let's get back to Bangkok, of course. In the city like Bangkok, where there's so much happening all at once, how do you connect with a place like this?
Very difficult.
Difficult?
Yeah, because first of all, tourists come through, not to.
Right.
And yet, I think people in the region come to because they want the shopping or they want the this or the that or the other. But most international tourists come here on their way to one of the beaches, or they'll have a stopover on the way back. But if you look outside and you see the size and scale of the place, where do you start? You have to get the feel of the place. That is the goal. That is what they pay me the money for. And you've only got a limited amount of time, and you can't get everything done.
I mean, I'm sure most people that live here their whole lives have not explored most of the city either. While we're still talking about travel, you've seen the travel industry go through every possible shift.
Yeah.
And lately, everyone's talking about sustainability, wellness, authenticity. How much of this approach do you think is here to stay, and how much is just greenwashing?
It's both. It's absolutely both. And it's hypocrisy at all levels. All levels. But here's the dirty little secret that nobody wants to discuss. I mean, first, we can do it at its most basic level. Do you offset your air travel? But then if you offset your air travel, is it a reputable scheme? Do you know where it's going? Offsetting is not a long-term solution. The next question is, do you change your towels and your sheets? I mean, you know, that's a really tricky one because we don't change our sheets every day at home. Why would you change them in a hotel? It means if you're at a resort, at beaches, that resort is providing employment or it is providing materials for other people. I'll give you an example. I saw for the first time at a hotel recently, there was a bag in my room, like a laundry bag. Never seen this before. And it said, grab bag. And it said, if you have some lightly used or tired items that you no longer wish, leave them here and we will distribute them to local.
Oh, wow.
Never seen that before. Never seen that before. That's sustainability.
That's amazing.
And so when people talk about sustainability, I don't have an answer to it because the answer is not to travel. I'll give you another example. Over-tourism. The single biggest problem we face in tourism industry, but nobody's got an answer. Nobody has got an answer. And interestingly, Thailand, many years ago, I was with the minister here in Thailand, there was a lady, and she said, we are no longer going after the numbers game, right? Thailand had wanted to hit 30 million, and they'd hit it. And they suddenly realized the numbers game was meaningless. What they needed to do now was go for the quality.
Yes.
But as she said to me, we can't all be going after rich Australian tourists. So how do you deal with that? And Thailand was brilliant, because Thailand encourages at all levels. It encourages at the backpacker.
Right.
There are many resorts that look down on the backpacker, but Thailand says, no, let the backpacker come when they're 18 and stay in the hostels and the whatever, and they'll come back when they're 40 and stay in the 5 stars. I'm sorry, it's a very long answer to a very short question and a good question, but where did you go on holiday last year?
I went to a few places, but I was in Europe
Right.
for a bit. And
Where
I went to, the most recently, went to Budapest.
Oh, Wonderful city.
I love it. It's probably one of my favorites.
I know.
In Europe.
I know.
And that was in Croatia.
Now, there's a country that's really grappling with over-tourism.
Yeah.
Dubrovnik. I was in Dubrovnik when it reopened after the pandemic. And a cruise ship arrived. Massive bugger. You know, me with my policy hat on thinks, ooh, we're back to the bad old days. Ooh, should be doing something about this. But then I looked at the street traders selling the souvenirs. These were the first people they'd seen in 18 months of large scale. Who am I to deny them their business? There is no easy answer to over-tourism. There really isn't.
I mean, Thailand, they tried to shut down an island for a while, PPE.
PPE, yeah, they did, but they also did the beach there, didn't they? They redid the whole,
Yeah.
they redid the whole thing. But let's take that as an example. You shut it down. Who's going to still go there? The rich people. They can afford to go there. There's only ways you can restrict, is either by ticketing, by costing, by pricing it out, by limiting, by hours. There's only other ways. What Thailand is also doing, which is really interesting, is dispersing into those parts of the country that aren't as well visited yet.
While we're talking about this, applying it to Thailand, did you hear that Bangkok is currently ranked the second best city on the planet by Time Outs? So what kind of travel trends do you think will help keep that?
Hang on. Based on what?
Supposedly it's an overall ranking, so not just tourism.
Second on the planet? Well, I'm sure there were some good contenders, but yes, I could see why. Very, very livable in an unlivable way.
What do you mean by that?
The traffic, the pollution, the noise, just the sheer intensity of it at sometimes. But once you've put that into the context of the place, it becomes livable.
People are very adaptable.
Exactly.
You get used to it, and then you focus on the other things.
Right.
And okay, so I want to ask you something about flying, because you are CNN's aviation correspondent, and you've had a front row seat to how airlines are evolving.
Sure.
So between the higher costs, AI, and of course, once again, green pressures, what do you think flying will really look like in the near future?
Exactly the same as it is at the moment. We know the planes that we will be flying with because they're already made. We know it will get better at the front and some modifications at the back of the plane to make it more comfortable. We know internet connectivity through Starlink will dramatically improve. Fundamentally, the experience will be simplified through biometrics. So already now, in many airports, they'll take your picture when you check in, and that will be your passport to get on the plane. In fact, there are many places now where you don't even take your passport out to get on the plane or in immigration. In terms of the actual flying experience, I don't think it's going to change dramatically. It's still the most fascinating experience. I still love it. I still am absolutely completely in love with it. This magnificent machine that's magic and lifts off the air and goes into the air. And then you look around the aircraft and you'll see everybody. Who's going to get married? Who's going to a new job? Who's just got fired and going home? Who's gone through a divorce? Who's going home to bury somebody? Who's going home to see somebody for the last time? Who is on a happy time? Every aspect of human emotion is in that aluminium tube. And that plane is carrying the hopes, the dreams, the wishes, the sadnesses of us all. And I think that is a phenomenal. And that is why I am still in love with aviation after all these years. Admittedly, I prefer to be in 2A rather than 96F.
Right. But still, I think it's just one of the most amazing technology that you cannot take for granted. It takes you all across the world.
Correct. I took off from New York and 14 hours later landed in Tokyo. I have done the longest flights in the world. Singapore, New York.
How many hours is that?
About 17.
Okay, because Canada is also quite long from Asia.
The longest will be Project Sunrise, which is Qantas. It will be Sydney, London, Sydney, New York, and that'll come in at about 19, 20 hours when they start that in 2 years' time.
And you will be on that one for sure.
I actually did the demonstration flight from London to Sydney non-stop. It's a very strange experience to be on a plane for that long. Very strange. A former producer said to me once, if you want to get Quest's attention, get him on a plane. There's sort of a zenness comes over me, and I'm agreeable to most things.
Right.
On a plane.
When you're up in the air.
Yeah.
You need the white noise of a plane to relax you.
Dong.
Okay. So now let's switch topics a little bit.
Oh, go on, here we go.
I heard that early in your career, you basically created your own job as the BBC's Wall Street coordinator.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Correspondent, yes.
So, can you tell us what was going through your mind?
I wanted to move to New York. I was already doing business and economics. The corporation didn't have a Wall Street correspondent. So I came up with the idea of a freelance role in New York as that, and they liked it, but they decided to make it a staff job. And they advertised it, and I thought, oh, now I'm really screwed. And I applied for it. I was already a reporter, senior reporter, and I got it. When the guy told me I got it, we've given you the job. You weren't the best candidate, but you were the only one we thought would bully his way on air. And that taught me huge amounts about our business. And time and again, I've seen people come from print into broadcast or from outside inside, and they may be very good journalists, but if you haven't got what it takes to bully yourself on air, or if you're a journalist into the newspaper, into the magazine, it doesn't matter. And they were right, I did get myself on air, but I wasn't the best.
How did you bully yourself?
Knowing who to contact. Well, you know this. How do you get something printed? How do you get something published? How do you get something done? You know who to call.
Right.
But it has to be a good idea. Nobody's going to take crap. The premium is on quality, not quantity. I think a lot of vloggers make this big mistake now. That they think it's all about just how much can you generate. Time Out discovered this, for God's sake. Time Out, when it started as a magazine, which we used to buy, and you looked forward to it, found its niche. It started, it told you what to do on a Saturday night. Everybody had a copy of it. It still is, the Bible. And from that, it expands. You know, you may not remember Hugh Hefner, the founder of Playboy. And there's one thing about Playboy. Every aspect of it is perfectly done. So the nudes of the models are phenomenally photographed by the best photographers with the best lighting and the best makeup and the best everything. And the same with the article. They would get the top journalists to write the articles in it, and they were some of the best articles in the world. And Hugh Hefner said to me once, we only ever do an article on somebody if they guarantee us 3 hours, because it's only after a couple of hours that you're comfortable with the person, and so you let your guard down.
Oh, okay.
And you start getting the real answers. It is the exact opposite of the junket that movie stars do when they're promoting a film or a TV series or a book, and everybody gets the 5-minute window, and you don't bring your equipment. You sit down, you get 5 minutes, and you're given the tape or the link, and everybody gets 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. And it says the exact opposite of that. And I think if you look now at podcasts, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, longer form, get to grips with the issues, talk about it more, get deeper into it. That's the future. That is the future. There'll be room for the TikTok 15 seconds, but the future, people who want to know, is that. I'm sorry, I'm rambling on here.
No, but so basically it's kind of like going back to that, because we now have zero, attention span at this moment. A lot of TikTok, for example, is so short because people don't have the attention span, but you're thinking that we're past that already and people are actually craving more content.
I think it's not either or, it's both. So I'm on the bus or I'm having a coffee, I'll flick through TikTok, but I'm on the treadmill in the gym for 30 minutes, I'll listen to a podcast, I'll listen to a talk, I'll listen to something meaningful. And I think that's where quality counts. That is absolutely where quality counts. There's always going to be room for the skateboarding dog, but I think people are seeking something deeper and more meaningful. Absolutely. Now, whether it's crap or not, who knows?
I'm definitely taking notes. Okay, so going back to the whole you taking charge of your own career and, bullying your way into
the best jobs are the ones you invent yourselves, always, 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 always. You know that. How many jobs have you invented for yourself?
All of them.
Exactly. How many jobs have you actually applied for?
Not that many.
There we go.
But so the word reinvention gets thrown around a lot these days as well. For people that can pivot what they do, is that not considered reinvention if you want to pivot your career?
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Why would you want to pivot your career?
Maybe not change to something different, but maybe like branch out.
Why?
Could be because boredom.
Boredom, or something's not working.
Yes.
Yeah, pivoting. It's just a posh way of saying change. Try something new. I'm 63.
Okay.
I could not sell water in the desert. I admire entrepreneurs completely. I can look at a spreadsheet and tell you why this company's crap or why it's not working, but I couldn't do it myself. I have no capacity for risk in business. None. Zero. I'm
So
the
you
opposite of you. I've never freelanced. I've always been an employee. You know, knowing what one can do well is as important as knowing where you're crap. I know how to pull the levers of power in a company. By that, I mean I can get the project through. I know to speak to that person because he's got budget. And if I talk to that person, she's also got budget. And I know her project is failing. But if we take his money, put it with her project, and just suggest it at a meeting and move the money around fast enough so nobody really sees where it is, suddenly you're on the plane and everybody else is happy. Because really, all people care about is what it looks like when it goes on the screen. Yeah, they may grumble it was a bit over budget, and they may make a bit of a fuss at how long it took. That man over there, all he cares about is what it looks like online, in print, on broadcast, on phone. And if it gets the eyes, he's happy. If people like it, he's happy. If it's a bit over budget, he's forgotten about it because by the time he sees the bottom budget line, it's 6 weeks later.
And he is nodding very much.
And I learned all this at a very early age. And the other thing he wants is something different. He wants something different. He is sick and tired of people doing Me Too's. They saw this in another mag or on a site. Let's do a version of that. No, he wants somebody saying, why don't we have a go at doing this? It'll cost you X £100 or baht or whatever. Can I have a go at doing it? And you say, yeah, go and have a go. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, yeah, he's 500 baht down the road. But I think there's a generation of people coming through. And I see this with my producers, and I see this elsewhere, who are expecting other people to tell them what to do and how to progress. What do I mean by that? I don't mean everybody has to be an entrepreneur. That's just not realistic. What I mean is everybody has to come to the table with something in their field. So if you're creative, you've got to have a bloody good idea. If you're a performer, you better know how to perform. If you're a writer, you better have an idea for a story. What you can't do is wait for somebody to say, would you do this, please? Would you do that, please?
But don't you think if there are going to be leaders, there also has to be certain people that is good at taking the orders? Otherwise, if everybody is just, on one side, then who's going to actually be doing?
I didn't say leaders.
Okay.
You're talking about, in the army, the non-commissioned officer. You're talking about the foot soldiers. You're talking about the people who get the things done.
Yes.
Of course there has to be that. But you want the best people doing that. You want your producers, your junior producers, you want at every stage somebody contributing ideas, ingenuity, creativity to the best of their level. And the top people will inspire those further down to rise up and to do the best they can. I promise you, I've been in meetings where Jane or Bob or Simon has reached the limit of their capabilities. And then you have to bring them on to the next area. Maybe not what you wanted to talk about, but the reality is there's an entire world of people running around with phones trying to be creators, trying to think that they can make it. And actually, when you say to them, person who's working long hours, hard work, but has a talent to do it, they succeed. You don't agree with me. You don't agree with me. I can tell you can.
No, I feel like this. I feel like no. This is what my dad.
Yeah.
It's his philosophy, right?
Oh, so now I'm your dad.
My dad is slightly older than you, but I just feel like maybe the concept of that has evolved with the different generations. Like in that generation, it's all about hard work, you know? Like it's,
Oh,
in
yeah,
this generation,
this is
people
lovely.
don't believe in that anymore. And I'm not that young either, but I just hear, like now I feel like people don't, you know, like with like crypto, or I feel like
Let me
everybody
tell you
gets
something.
free money.
When we came out of the pandemic, and there was an entire generation of wannabes and people saying, oh, I want to work from home. Oh, it's at home.
Yeah.
Oh. And all the Wall Street banks said, yes, of course we'll let you do that. We'll be nice to you. Yes, yes. Guess who succeeded? The person who did that little bit extra. Now, did we have to rebalance so people weren't working 95-hour weeks? Of course we did. Was there dysfunctionality? Do we have to guard against it? Do those of us who are in positions of employment, higher up, have to make sure that people are not being abused? Of course. But the person who goes that extra mile is the one who's going to win. I'm sorry, it's a reality of life. You, my dear, succeeded because you didn't give up. When other people were having a night out, you were still working. You were beaten away at just another project. No, we can do it this way. We can do it better that way. No, I want to do it that way. How many outfits did you bring?
3.
Right, you didn't have to bring 3.
No, just in case.
Just in case. But you're the example of what I'm talking about. At one level, you can say you did your job. I love that line in one of my favorite movies, Devil Wears Prada.
Yes, it's a wonderful movie, definitely.
Yeah. Tales of your incompetence do not interest me. I love it. Bore somebody else with your problems. No, but that moment when Miranda Priestley looks at her and when she says, is there anything else I can do, Miranda? Yes, do your job.
Right. Let's change the scenery and change the subject a little bit. You did tell us that you had your honeymoon here in Thailand. As you know, of course, we were one of the first countries in this area to legalize same-sex marriage. Did you get married in Thailand as well?
No, because of course it wasn't legal then. We had planned to get married in London. Unfortunately, the date we planned to get married was 2020, which was exactly the height of the pandemic when everything shut down. And so we had to rush back to the United States before then President Trump, now President Trump, closed the country. We couldn't get married then. We couldn't even get an appointment at the registry office in New York. So what does every good, self-respecting couple do when they want to get married? Where did we go?
Las Vegas.
Correct.
Oh!
We went to Vegas. We went to Bellagio and we got married. And it was just straight out of central casting. I mean, the celebrant was, look into your eyes, tell me. And then there were rose petals on the floor, but the Bellagio just did it all. It was extraordinary. And our relatives watched on Zoom. And then we had the honeymoon here. I was so pleased and happy. You know, I heard the government and the king had passed that. And it was a tremendous step forward. Tremendous step forward. When it comes to this whole question of LGBTQ, the first step has to be decriminalizing. But at least Thailand sent a strong, powerful message to the rest of the world. Absolutely.
If you live here, if you visited here, you'll see that it's not just laws. Really, we live that, you know. Here, it is so inclusive. And you feel it every day.
And let's take Singapore, which changed the law. Sometimes fellow LGBT, they criticize me because I sort of say, look, it's a slow process that you've got to take the people with you. You have to take the general consensus with you. You can push hard, and I give full credit to the campaigners and the activists. But we are seeing in the United States the backlash.
Right.
If you get too far ahead of your skis, you will end up with a backlash. And if you end up with a backlash, you put the clock back. And it's that navigation of point that's really tricky, really tricky. But Singapore sent the message, Thailand sent the message, and now let's see other countries follow, at least with decriminalization.
Yeah, I mean, I really hope everybody else follows slowly but surely. Okay, so you have obviously interviewed so many people. You have been everywhere. But you are known very much for always having the biggest energy and giving it 110% still. So what still gives you that spark? And is there still a question that you're chasing after?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. The magic question.
What is it?
The magic question is, what happens inside Jade when you ask this? So I asked Patrick Swayze, Dirty Dancing, what happens inside Patrick Swayze when he hears the music? I asked Hugh Hefner, what happens inside Hugh Hefner when a beautiful woman walks in the room? So it's this idea of what ticks. So if I was to ask myself the same point, what happens inside Richard Quest that, when you're given an assignment, it is this idea of, wow, this is interesting. We need to ask about this. It's as childlike as what happens if I push this button and it goes, whee? What happens if I stand back here? What's in these drawers? Oh, now I look at this mug and this is fascinating. Now I want to see what make it is. Interesting. It's rather nice, this. But it's a nice size. My husband would love this because he loves a big cup of coffee in the morning. And it's nice, got a bit of weight to it. Don't worry, they're counting them. I know how many there are. So that's my point. It's curiosity.
Yes, curiosity.
It's curiosity.
Yeah.
It's nosiness. What we do, by the way, is nothing more than what washerwoman used to do over the washing line or the garden fence. Have you heard about Mr. Smith at number 47 and what he was doing with Mrs. Jones at number 63? Well, I can tell you because I saw them in the laundrette, and you should have seen the colour of the stuff that was coming out that washer. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It is telling people something they didn't know. One of the reasons I love breakfast shows, even though you've got to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, it is because you're saying to the viewer or the listener, since you went to bed, this happened. And I'm going to tell you what the assessment is of why it's important. It doesn't have to be, although it's important, the Gaza. It could be Taylor Swift's getting married. It can be the Super Bowl. It can be anything.
You're spreading the word.
Ooh, well, that sounds very onward, Christian soldiers marching on to war. Spreading the word.
Spreading the word.
Spreading the manure.
Spreading the good word.
Yes.
Okay. Before we wrap up.
Yes.
I have
There
a
we
few.
go. Straight in the groin. Here it comes. Look at those heels. My God.
Quick fire.
You could take somebody's. You could take somebody's eye out with that.
I mean, they're too small. Otherwise, I would let you try them on after. But
If you come off those, you'll be in a brace for months.
Oh, right. No. I have a lot of practice. Okay, so just a few quick fire ones.
Quick fire.
For fun.
Yeah.
All right, so if Bangkok was a person, what personality would you say it has?
If Bangkok was a person, it would be a cross between Marilyn Monroe and Margaret Thatcher.
All right, something to think about. And next one, if you could teleport anywhere right now, no worries about, well, you'd love to fly, but if you don't worry about that, just right this moment, where would you go and why?
It is, 2 o'clock in the morning. I would teleport back to my bedroom in New York where my husband is asleep.
Wow, that's amazing.
The
You've been traveling for a while, too.
No. If I could teleport anywhere, it would be to a beach, to lie there and enjoy with my husband.
That's great. I mean, you can, but, of course. Yeah. Okay, finally, this one, I am personally dying to know. Yeah. You are known for your big personality. Can you walk me through what your secret is? What is your daily life to life? What is Richard Quest's daily routine like? Is it like coffee, ice baths, meditation? What does your day look like?
Simple, really simple. The most important time for me in the day is the morning. So I'm up by 5:30, always. That first 2 hours of the day is my time. My husband leaves me alone in the kitchen to make breakfast. I'll take him a cup of coffee and then in the gym, get that out of the way. Then the day starts and you just keep going. But what I'm really good at, my secret is I am, you want to know the secret?
Yes.
I am a napaholic.
Okay.
All right? I'm a napaholic. I have no hesitation in taking naps during the day. I think it is ludicrous, this idea that somehow the macho, I'll keep going. Not a bit of it. If I'm tired, I usually just say to my producer, I'm just going to have 10 minutes with the FT. And I'll just pop in the door. They all know they can knock on the door and wake me up. And I say, 10 minutes with the Financial Times. And I'll just go and lie down for 10 minutes on my sofa and have a snooze.
10 minutes?
Yeah, I've really perfected the art. It's like a sort of a self-hypnosis. Basically lie there and just put yourself into that moment. And that is by far the secret. So that is my secret of success. I find it bewildering. We will send men and women to the other side of the world to negotiate billion-dollar contracts. We will send them, not necessarily always business class. We will expect them to get off the plane and go to work, get back on the plane, get home. Instead of saying, go there a day early and have a rest. Come back a day late, have a few hours before the meeting. No. No, so I'm a napaholic. Absolutely, I adore naps.
I'm nothing against naps either. Well, there you have it. And Richard, it was such an honor and a pleasure, and it has been so fun speaking to you.
Thank you. It is absolute honor and pleasure and privilege to be here. I wish you well.
Cheers with you as well, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the time, and hopefully Bangkok still has something to surprise you.
There's more than one surprise here. No, leave it alone, Richard. Leave it alone. Don't go there.
Thank you so much.